Hello from my sewing room. I thought it would be fun to go through the process I go through when I'm making something new. I have this fabric that I got from Raspberry Creek Fabrics, and it is a stretch board short. I have been holding on to a pair of stretch board short that I got a long time ago because I have not been able to find it since, so I've been afraid to cut into it. So when I saw that they're going to start carrying this new, they're calling it Verona stretch board short, I was so excited because I have so many ideas and patterns that I want to make for this. And that's been the hardest thing, is trying to decide what's my first thing I'm going to make. It's got just a little bit of stretch to it, not a lot, but it really reminds me of like the activewear. There's tons of it out there. Brands like Lululemon, Athleta, tons and tons of, you can do shorts, dresses, Albion fit, shorts, dresses, pants. It's perfect for travel because it doesn't wrinkle. It just and it folds up really small. So I, like I said, have been debating what I would make with this. And I'm like, I could do a dress, I could do shorts, I could do a skirt, I could do pants, I could do joggers. But I have a trip coming up, and I finally decided that I am going to try to make a pair of kind of not quite wide leg, but like flare leg pants that I can travel in. That'll be really comfortable. I also have this stripe that is super cute. This is printed with the new swim prints for this year. And after I finish my pants, then I'll decide. I have a few ideas for tops to make out of this, or I still think it would be the cutest dress for like the beach, like a swim cover up, or something like that, because I have the cute coordinating swim fabric too. So I finally narrowed down what pattern I'm going to do. And honestly, that sometimes takes me the longest, is figuring out which pattern am I going to use? Is it ready? How am I going to use it? I normally project my patterns, but this is one that I have made multiple times and I do have traced, and I am making some changes to it. So I'll kind of show you what I'm doing. So I've got the Allegro pattern here, and a few years ago I made a pair of duet trousers with kind of the leg shape that I want. So I actually have both of those patterns right here. I'm just going to kind of show. So this is the leg shape I'm wanting, and then this on top is the Allegro pants. So I'm going to match up at the knee here. The knee mark has kind of a notch there. So I'll match up my grain line with the pattern pieces because the crotch and the sides are a little bit off. But if I match those up, then I can kind of see, okay, this is the shape that I want the lower leg to take. So the top's going to stay similar, and then the same thing for the bottom. It's going to do the same thing. So you can see it's just a bit of a different shape. So I'm going to get this cut out. I'm checking which side of this fabric is the right side and which is the wrong. Usually I can tell by the selvage in which direction the holes are punched. So I'm going to choose this as my right side, and then I'll be consistent with that throughout. I think they look pretty similar, but I do like to pick one and stay consistent. So piece is ready to go. I'm going to put my ruler here so I remember to add the extra inch. Okay, now I've got everything cut out and I can get sewing. I've changed my thread to be navy. First thing I need to do is prep the pockets. So there's going to be front slash pockets and then back patch pockets. So this is my right side of my front. I'm going to take my right side of my pocket, attach that. It's funny because I think sometimes I'm like, oh, pockets take forever, but the reality is they don't take that long. They're really easy and they make such a difference. I think I have the wrong. There we go, because those will need to go right sides together. Not wrong to right. Okay, then I'll also be able to take my back pieces and sew those together, right sides together along the back crotch. Okay, I've got the pockets done, the fly, everything. A few extra details that I did was I did a little top stitching down the back and then here where the crotch meets. Then I was looking at some of my ready to wear pants that are kind of out of this athletic-y fabric, and I noticed they have like a ribbed or a thicker waistband. Now this pattern has like an, I think it calls for 1.5 inch elastic, and I usually extend that to be 2 inches. But for this one, I am doing a little experiment and I pulled some just cotton lycra jersey that's got good stretch. And I've attached it, and then I've sewed 2 channels here, and I'm going to see what happens when I put my elastic in those 2 channels and then a drawstring here through the middle. So I have just done some little buttonholes, got some chalk on there with interfacing, and then I just stretched this to fit. I cut this at about my waist measurement and then stretched it to fit the pants. So let's see how that goes. Okay, so I went ahead and inserted elastic, and then I think it's just about right. I think I'm going to add some 3/8 inch elastic here and attach my drawstring to that so that this has the same firmness that the elastic has. But I'm really happy with how the top of this turned out. It's hard to tell. The match is a little better in person than the video shows, but I just used a piece of jersey, cotton lycra jersey that I had. I think I could have done this same technique with the main fabric and just made it the width. I would have my gathering here in the channels of the elastic instead of here. But for all intents and purposes, I think it worked pretty well, and it's very comfortable. Okay, I'm going to cut my drawstring. So I'm just cutting a strip of fabric from my scraps here, and I'm going to cut 2 of them that I'm going to attach to elastic. I like attaching a drawstring to elastic when it's already a stretchy area. So I'm going to make these just because this is the length of the fabric that I have. Let's see, they're going to be about 15.5 inches long each, but of course I'll adjust those after I make sure they're long enough. So I want my drawstring to be about, let's see, my opening here is a 1/2 inch, just under 1/2 inch. So I want it to be a 3/8 inch drawstring. I'm going to fold that in half. That's 6/8 of an inch. And then I need to add my seam allowance, which is going to be, let's see, what do I am I? Actually, I think I'm going to do a fold. So I'm going to fold in half, 6/8, 3/8, 3/8. So 6/8 plus 6/8. So I'm going to do 1.5. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and so when I sew this, I'm going to fold in. First, I'm going to press it in half, and then I'm going to fold to the center. Like that. So that is going to give me my 3/8 inch wide drawstring. And this I folded on the fold. I cut on the fold. And so I'm just going to make one long drawstring, and then I will cut it in half, and I will attach it to each end of my 3/8 inch elastic on each end, and then I'll thread that through the opening right here. Through this opening. Okay, so I've got my drawstring here, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it just in half. So I have 2 of them. Then I'm going to take my elastic. I'm going to attach one of these on each end. So I'm just going to zigzag the drawstring to the elastic. That's just going to give that channel a little more stability with the elastic, and since it can stretch, it doesn't really affect anything. Now I've got my drawstring attached to my elastic, and I will just thread this through the channel that I created. And they're done. So really happy with how this turned out. And I think they are a great pair of athletic pants. I just did a 1 1/4 inch hem on them. Remember, I added the extra length. I didn't probably need to add that much. They still might be a little long. We'll see. Trying to decide which shoes to wear them with, but overall super happy with this make. I think they're going to be awesome for my trip, and yeah, excited to get them styled. As you can see, I can wear these pants so many different ways. I love that I can wear them with sneakers. They'd be perfect for wearing on the airplane or just when I'm out and about, but also when I'm on vacation, if I need a pair of pants that looks really nice, I can pair it with a button-up shirt, and they look like really nice slacks. They're so comfy, they don't wrinkle, but I especially love this waistband. I love that it's smooth and stretchy and soft, really easy to wear, and looks amazing. Looks so much like those upscale pants, but I did not pay that price.